captain just called me Pathfinder. This is really happening.
Senpai noticed me.
Just take a deep breath.
Yeah, thanks for starting conversations without letting me have a voice in it. Thanks very much.
Yours. You just need to decide what you're gonna do with it. Where do I start? I'm just not sure I'm ready.
We weren't ready to fall out of the sky on Habitat 7, but we survived that.
Right? So, always keep a jump jet handy.
Yeah, do they always put their jump jets on before they get in a shuttle? Well, we never had to worry about that before.
I want to know, do they always start up conversations when I'm not ready to have one? I don't know if they're going for immersive, but I just find that annoying. It's like, why can't they just say, hey, this person needs to talk to you about something. You want to go ahead and push a button. You know, they do that. Why can't they just do that for everyone? You know, that it's all these automatics can be terribly untimely.
Yes. So anyway, welcome to the Nexus.
Start running power and data.
Yeah, it's just a big ship. He's got a big ship. See them all.
This guy's having an Excedrin headache.
Obviously, people down over here haven't paid the light bill.
Yep. There's a lot of that.
We're having power requirement problems. I gotta go scan things.
Yeah, now one of the neat things is that I think is that as we progress through the game, the conditions here are going to improve. Kind of like we saw in the Citadel, you know, when, you know, after there are attacks and invasions, there's bullet decals on the wall and little fires that nobody puts out. Stuff like that.
Yeah, why are you running at me?
Yeah.
And it's funny, you know, something that I actually used to do in Destiny all the time, which is basically walk around like a normal human being.
Yes.
Nobody did that. Everyone just
do that.
Runs and jumps every place like they're.
No, unless I'm in a hurry, I'm RP walking everywhere.
Yeah, they kind of go crazy with us.
Guy's got a nice screensaver over there.
Why doesn't this container initiate a conversation automatically, huh?
Yeah. Okay. So you talked about research point, but there is still money.
Yeah, apparently.
So there's and again, you just walked off your ship and opened a random box
and said, "You know what? Mine."
Yep. But this is an RPG. I mean, these gameplay elements are so deeply ingrained; they're almost impossible to get rid of.
I don't know. I'm sure we could figure out some of the other way than pilfering and stealing other people's stuff. And there is a Roomba.
What is that? Is that a tiny Roomba? Wow. Okay,
our Roomba technology is light years ahead of the competition. But you got to ask yourself, excuse me, what kind of a surface area can something the size of a hockey puck actually cover?
You know what? I made a male Ryder to approximate the one we created for this playthrough because I couldn't import the save. The Mass Effect Archive website wasn't working. It looks like it is now working, but I haven't used it yet. But I gotta admit, I played through this whole area. I've watched other people play through this whole area. I did not see that little robot once until now.
Cool. I was able to bring... Hey, there's another one. So, is this following me, or is this a different one?
I don't know.
No, it's a different one. There's one here and there's one over there. See?
Yeah. Nope, did not know. They're probably everywhere in every room, and I just did not see them.
Cool.
Okay, folks. This is what we've been waiting for. Let your teams know that docking procedures are now in effect. We've got 20,000 colonists still asleep, and we'll need somewhere to put them when the alarm clock goes off. As soon as we get clearance from the Nexus, we'll be following stasis revival protocols. We want to avoid any logjams, so it's vital your teams...
I thought we'd want to avoid stop calling our colonists logs.
Any questions so far?
The use of idiomatic language in this really... Well, I hardly want to say it, but it drives me up a wall.
Well, you know, when you got to think about what idiomatic language is actually going to be taking place hundreds of years in the future, no one really can say, because obviously the linguistics of our own technological advances just over the past 20 years has changed radically.
One of the ways you distance a work that's supposed to... They're going to start talking now, probably.
Oh, I have a feeling.
It'll be nice to see some friendly faces this time.
The Nexus runs a support crew.
Just enough to finish building the station and provide safe harbor for the arcs. It means we can start waking our people up.
Or
They built
not.
a bar, right? Gotta have champagne for the welcome party.
You're expecting one.
See, we're adults.
After what we've been through, I could use a buzz.
We're totally
all
not
did.
kids. Because we drink.
Rough ride so far.
We'll bounce back. Real food and a shower are just ahead.
We weren't sleeping in a bivouac before this. You came in a giant spaceship. It has showers.
Here we are.
And yet nobody seems to use those. Nobody seems to have to use the bathroom.
The idiomatic language, like one of the ways that sci-fi works, like Star Trek.
I don't see any champagne.
Where is everybody?
One of the ways they distance themselves is by either inventing their own idioms
Well, this
or
can't
just
be
not
right.
using known ones.
It's like everything's on standby.
If it's a surprise party, they're doing an awfully good job of it.
One of the ways you know... stop before you trigger Avina.
We could see what the VI has to say.
No, we could hear what the VI has to say. One of the ways you know you're not living or...
Plants are still alive.
Are we finished, Ryder?
It's like they didn't finish building it.
Yeah, because they didn't finish building it. One of the ways you know you're not in your customary universe is when that language is different. Like, when you hear everybody swearing in Chinese, you know you're listening to Firefly.
Yes.
And
This place should be packed with people.
See what I mean? It's just like,
yeah,
I think they're
is.
doing it for ambiance reasons.
It's impromptu. But you know what? But your character shouldn't be doing that.
No.
Like, you more or less can't control it when NPCs chatter unexpectedly, but
I wish I could.
it really does further distance you. And I don't have much problem with the idea that Ryder is a character with her own needs and wants. It's not just a proxy for you. But at the same time, it is kind of weird when they're making random observations to inform you of things that you could be looking at yourself. Or maybe you're looking at something else, and Ryder's comment is totally off the wall and inappropriate. But I think, again, it's the designers are afraid of you not noticing the right things.
Look at this.
So
they're got invisible barriers.
It's like that everywhere. Everywhere they don't want you to go is blocked off with crates, and you should be able to jump jet boost, jump or climb, just step on a box or squeeze past something. But no, they can't. They railroad you into the play area.
Find that poor design.
When Star Trek uses historical references like nautical language to talk about ships, when they do stuff on the holodeck and stuff, it's to be poetic, to be artistic. It's not in the run of the everyday. You know what I'm saying? Like Picard talks about tall ships and a star to steer you by when he's quoting Shakespeare, or if he's on the holodeck on a fake sailing ship. He doesn't use it to try to explain to his crew this is important, like the way Alec Ryder did in the last episode.
Not once has he said, "Shiver me timbers," and meant it.
No. Yeah, but this is full of that.
Welcome to the Nexus, gateway to Andromeda. I'm Avina, a virtual intelligence designed to assist you with immigration.
Okay, Cortana.
Can you tell us where the welcome party is hiding?
I'm sorry. My code is limited to information and simple interaction simulations.
So you're dumb.
Please select from the following pre-programmed responses.
Oh,
Okay, hold up. So, one, she could have just said that it would be any point in her telling you where they were hiding. What would be the point of hiding if you could just ask the VI? The second thing that I noticed about this, and that I will have to go back at other footage, but Avina, who has been, I think, in all the games, or at least 2 out of 3 of them at this point, because she's definitely in 1 and definitely in 3, and I'm pretty sure it was in 2 somewhere. I mean, it's got to be somewhere every time you go to the Citadel, was basically just a generic blue hologram lady.
Yep.
But they've deliberately made Avina an avatar of an Asari now. Like, very clearly. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't true in the first one. Maybe they did it in 2 and 3 and I didn't notice, or it was vague enough to be unclear.
I thought she always was. Okay, why are we asking about the current year? I don't understand why that's an option.
Hey, come on, the last episode you wanted us to calculate it.
Well, yeah, I wanted the stupid credits to tell us. It's like, why give us math problems?
Nope, well, go ahead and ask.
What year is it?
The current year is 2819. After spending over 600 years in stasis, it's normal to feel disoriented or confused upon arrival. Our helpful medical staff can assist with any physical or psychological after effects you may be experiencing.
Well, she's got the date right, at least. So where is everyone?
I'd be really curious to say, hey, so how many AIs have been online for that long, and how many have gone insane in that period of time?
Well, a VI can't really.
Where do colonists live?
Once you've cleared immigration, our helpful staff will assist you in choosing the home world of your dreams. Will it be the tropical paradise of Habitat 7, the gentle rolling hills of Habitat 3, or perhaps the mysterious twilight world of Habitat 5? Whichever you choose, rest assured our Pathfinders have carefully vetted all colony worlds to ensure your security and prosperity.
Oh boy.
Habitat 7. That's where we landed. She's way out of date.
Not to mention the fact she doesn't have any eyeballs.
So do you watch Bob's Burgers?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Avina's voice now, and I don't know if it's the same person who's always done it, but Avina's voice now sounds like Kristen Schaal, who does the voice of Louise on Bob's Burgers.
How does the immigration process work?
We ask that you submit to a brief medical exam to ensure your health and well-being after making such a long journey. Once you've been cleared, our colonization experts will assist you in finding your new home.
Did you eat any
Please
fruits
be
or
mindful
vegetables?
of the queue. Thousands of eager colonists like you are waiting to begin their new life in Andromeda.
Oh my god, you're an advertisement.
Where? Place is deserted.
She always was.
What can you tell me about the Andromeda Galaxy?
Here in Andromeda, you are
You're
over
in it.
2 million light years away from the Milky Way galaxy.
That's not about Andromeda.
This is the furthest any life form
Nope.
has ever traveled outside our home system, making you a brave pioneer indeed.
Except for the
The
indigenous
Nexus
life.
itself is located in a region known as the Heleus Cluster. Here, you and
That's what we
thousands
call
of
it.
your fellow
They may call it something else.
colonists will fulfill your dreams of settling a new home. Fortune awaits.
Oh my god, you're a website.
Make
What
Andromeda
is
great
the
again.
Nexus?
The Nexus serves as the central hub for the Andromeda Initiative's colonization efforts. It is the first destination for all colonists upon their arrival in the new galaxy. Please
Wait a minute,
enjoy
this
the
galaxy's
many
just as
benefits
old as
the
ours.
Nexus has to offer. As the station expands, it will one day serve as the seat of government for Milky Way colonists. Providing a safe, stable, and prosperous environment is our primary goal.
Not from the looks of it.
Wow, you are have you looked out of a window lately?
Yeah,
That's
for
all.
a game about
It has
space
been my
exploration,
pleasure.
this is
Please
anthropic
see
as
one of our
hell.
helpful immigration
Yeah,
staff
I'm
for
sorry.
further assistance.
I feel like we should just edit out that
And
entire
welcome to
interaction.
your new home in Andromeda, where the brightest star is you.
Oh
No,
god.
I feel
Our
they
wait
should
time
have.
for immigration processing is unknown error.
Right. That was helpful.
Wow. What's the maximum sentence for throttling a hologram to death?
Okay, why would
'cause
you
I think
have
she's
the
earned
voice? Yeah, why would you have the voice simulator deliberately do a robotic voice on the unknown error to make it sound less natural?
I'm sorry that I got some Lucy Liu vibe things from Futurama from that particular interaction.
Yeah, actually.
Now, I have
don't
seen and or
remember
heard-
if there's any upgrades up here.
Yeah.
There's crap all over the station, and I found a bunch of it. You can try scanning for crap, but I do know that the one interaction they want you to have is just down the stairs ahead of you.
Well, I can't go up, so I guess the only other place I can go is down.
That voice sounded so much like Kristen Schaal. I kept waiting for the sarcastic remark at the end of each line.
Oh, construction worker. All right, an
Liam, shut
actual
up.
human.
Hi there.
Yeah, you'd think so.
We're from Ark Hyperion, and wondering where everybody went.
Did he hear you?
Oh god.
Did you say an arc?
Yeah, we just got in.
And for what it's worth, your VI over there could use an update.
But we thought you were all dead.
What?
Why?
Huh?
Or captured, or lost in dark space, or...
As opposed to what?
But you're here. You have no idea how much this means.
I don't believe it.
Neither do we.
What the heck?
I'm Turian Kandros. I lead our militia on the Nexus.
I also have a back problem.
I'm Sarah Ryder. This is Cora Harper and Liam Costa, part of
Myth,
the
Cubby,
Pathfinder
Roy.
team.
I'm sorry for the confusion. Our sensors told us an Ark had arrived, but Heleus is notorious for scrambling equipment. We thought you were just another malfunction.
False alarm.
But aren't you expecting us?
You're the first Ark we've seen. After a year of waiting and no sign of the others, we shuttered this area and stopped looking.
You've been stranded for a whole year?
Longer.
Wait a minute, you only waited one?
I'll fill you in on the way to Op Center.
I'm sorry. I would think they would be waiting for dozens, if not hundreds, potentially.
Everything that could go wrong with our plan has. We arrived 14 months ago. Right away, we hit a band of dark energy that knocked us off course.
We're familiar with it.
Gee, don't wait for me or
Then
anything.
you'll know why we call it the Scourge. We lost whole sections of the station. A lot of people died. No power, no food. The chaos went on for months. It finally led to armed rebellion. When order was restored, the insurgents were banished. Exiles, we call them.
Are things back to normal?
No.
Not even close. But you're here now, so maybe the worst is over.
By the way, did you bring food?
Yeah, they're going to ask that.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
No word from the other Pathfinders?
No word from anyone, period.
Any threats from the locals?
I will say this with the
So
shuttle.
far, we've stayed hidden. We're in no shape to deal with an attack.
I'm getting a Space
We
1999
had a
vibe.
first contact situation on Habitat 7. Whole thing went south. They tried to kill us.
That wasn't first contact. We know about them. Those aliens are going to be a real problem.
This day just keep...
We're here.
They're not the
I know,
aliens.
we are!
You guys go ahead.
Oh my
Check out
god!
the security situation.
You should know our command structure has been fractured. Some of us are filling in for leaders who died.
Is it true?
They said drop everything and report for duty.
And no one was expecting an Ark to finally show up.
What?
Docking procedures are green across the board.
Stand by to merge Hyperion power into the grid.
I'm sorry, was this manned by impatient 12-year-olds? Seriously, we're doing a 600-year journey, and you guys could barely wait a year for us?
Crew of the Hyperion.
Good luck.
Oh my god!
I'm Jaren
You
Tan,
guys all
director
suck.
of the initiative. You have
Yes.
no idea how
That
much
much
your
is
arrival
clear.
means to us.
Okay, hold up. All right, so
Means
hold
to us.
up here so we can process just what's going on.
Yeah, seriously, I'm thrown for a loop here saying, oh, well, we waited... Seriously, that's like somebody waiting in the parking lot for 5 minutes and saying, oh, well, I guess they're not showing up, let's just leave. Seriously,
Well, no,
they actually did that.
I understand that, but
I don't.
understand, right?
I don't.
As soon as we woke up,
With the
things
vast
started to
distances
go-
and times and the little things that could have set you off by decades, and you mean to tell me you waited for 12 months and said, no, we're packing up the tent.
Yep, but as far as I can tell, they should have anticipated that because
Totally.
there's actually no hint
Oh my
that
god!
that your arc was delayed. There's a
Yeah.
codex entry that describes that the 3 known arcs, which are the human arc, the Turian arc, and the Salarian arc, all left in the same year. The other 2 are missing. We're the only one that has arrived. But we also know that the Nexus was sent in advance in an incomplete state so
Right.
that a skeleton crew could finish building it here, basically to have there be less mass to move.
Well, here's my my understanding that I'm kind of confused on. Why couldn't they build it in transit? Why couldn't they do what was necessary? You make the outer hull, and then you build up the rest of the interior.
Maybe
You have
they did.
600 years to do it.
My
What have you been doing all this time?
understanding is that no, all the people were put in stasis. They started finishing construction when they arrived. That was 14 months ago. But I still can't work out because none of the codex entries seem to stay. How long was the gap supposed to be between the Nexus's arrival and us? Are the other 2 ones missing and we're late because they talk about what year it is and how long it was supposed to be, but nobody on board the Hyperion looked at a star chart or a system clock or something and said, hey, we're 6 months off.
Oh, please, and not to mention the fact that a simple navigational error or an unknown gravitational anomaly, some weird drifting problem with the engines, whatever, a panoply of potential things that could have delayed them, or worse, they could have hit an entry point into the galaxy far beyond the range of their sensors or where they would expect them to show up, and could take years with conventional space to find or to get in contact with them.
And
makes no sense to me. They gave up that quick.
Looking for other arcs is going to be part of what goes on. Obviously, things went to crap for these guys right away, and they immediately became absorbed in all their internal stuff to the point of supposedly not even noticing when we fly up to the damn thing. That's how little they trust their own devices.
their own sensors. I'm sorry. There are windows.
But having docked, they're more than ready to actually connect to our ship and start taking our power. All right, so
well, that's not surprising.
So let's go and let's hear the explanation.
Oh my God! Welcome to the SS Introverts.
We've heard about what happened, and we're ready to help.
We could use any supplies you have. Food, water, we're short on everything.
This is Foster Addison. She oversees colonial affairs.
And Botox injections.
Where's the Pathfinder?
You're looking at her.
You're not Alec Ryder.
My father's dead. He made me his successor.
And you don't have anything to eat, so play nice.
Alec is dead.
Yeah.
Please understand. The entire initiative is at risk.
Why would that
None
be?
of the
We have
golden
20,000
worlds panned
people
out.
to rely on.
They're a bust, and there's been no word from the other arcs.
What happened to them?
Unknown. Our supplies are nearly depleted. Rationing bought us some time, but even that's running out.
I'm sorry, I can't believe you only have
need to
supplies
find
for
more
20,000
resources.
people to last less than a
But
year.
that takes people, and we can't wake them up.
Until they have somewhere to live. A golden world.
Well, why don't we take
Now
the
more
silver
than
one
ever,
and work our way up?
We need a Pathfinder.
It now falls to you, Ryder. Are you up to the task?
Okay, hold up.
Yeah, not
right.
buying this either.
No. And this is just the first of many things that are not going to make much sense. And you're going to start hearing this word Pathfinder so much, it's going to start to burn into your brain.
It's getting there. It's already getting there.
Especially when we think about the fact that this organization was created for the purpose of this mission. In other words, whoever the Pathfinder is has never actually done that job.
Right.
Nobody has ever done that job.
Well, nobody's done any of this. This is all new to everybody. So
Right.
him getting
So
snooty, wait a minute, you're not the guy we were expecting.
Yeah, it wasn't like this was an exploration outfit that developed the job description of Pathfinder and its requirements over a course of years, so people know what qualifications you need to be
or
one.
there were similar
they can,
colonization efforts that took the same path. You know, I mean,
yeah, no. Apparently, see again, this organization seems to have been created out of nothing. Do you remember what was it, Mars One? That basically said, yeah, we're going to put people on Mars. It's going to be a one-way trip. We're going to have open submissions and basically the more they talk about it, the more the Andromeda Initiative reminds me of Mars One. I mean, I started at thinking that maybe it was a scam and like none of the ships are real and maybe these people are all trapped in a holodeck or some nonsense, because that sounds more plausible than what's going on.
Could be a behavioral science test. Okay.
But basically, what it comes down to is that Pathfinder has to do everything because nobody else is qualified to do anything.
Well, explain to me how she's qualified to do anything, or shall we say is more qualified than anybody else. Therefore,
she's not.
We've negated her as being the requirement, being the one. You know, and it's that whole Neo thing.
Yeah, the requirements for being a Pathfinder are actually higher than that for being a Spectre, and you have no experience, unlike Shepard.
Wow.
You're in trouble here. I'd say you need any help you can get.
We need qualified help.
That's no way to treat a guest.
I would say you'd take any help that you can get, qualified or non.
I'm not.
Are we guests or are we colleagues?
Superintendent of this station. Hope they haven't scared you off already.
Hey, babe.
It's nothing personal, but now isn't the time for on-the-job training.
Are you kidding me?
At least the Pathfinder here seems willing to try. We could use a fresh perspective.
You've heard my concerns. I'll leave you to it.
I'm sorry. If anybody has some concerns, I have some about your face.
We're all feeling the pressure. Let's have a private.
She also
word in
just
my office,
disappeared
Ryder.
behind
We'll
the Krogan.
discuss
Have you
giving
got
a
that?
scholarship. I'm happy to work out the details with your associate.
Welcome to the Nexus.
Thank you for standing up for me there.
It's
Hopes
a
in
It's a
short
Nexus.
supply here. What little we can find should have a chance.
Ma'am, the Hyperion's core is now online.
Shut up and
Let
fix
me
your
show you
hair.
something.
Oh my god.
An hour ago, that was all dark. But with the power from your ship, you're keeping the lights on. You have my vote.
Why isn't the outside of
And
this
when the
thing
power
covered with
runs
solar
out?
panels?
You'd best go talk to Director Tan. Make sure that doesn't happen. And don't be shy. Come see me when you have a chance.
If these people had made Voyager, it would have crashed into Saturn.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh my god. I've received a new objective. Kill all the Nexus crew minus the Krogan. She's the only one with half a brain.
Okay, yeah, so basically our tracks here are to talk to everybody. If you turn around...
I want to talk to less and less after that conversation. Cash, Kandros, Addison.
Yeah, if you turn around, Tan's office is to the right, Kesh's is to the left, Kandros is straight ahead, and Addison, I think, is in this room. Addison, I think, is up the ramp behind
Any
you.
suggested order?
You might as well do them in order of proximity, so talk to Addison first. Just go up the ramp here to this little area behind you. I think she's up there. Oh, wait.
Hello, console.
No, go back. Go back and listen to this guy. Yeah.
As soon as we hook you up to all that juicy power.
I thought that was cute. Some of the writing that is not central, like the background dialogue, is more clever and more interesting than the conversations you have to have with NPCs.
With characters, yeah. It's sad.
Yep, Addison's over there.
Oh, Addison, I want to pitch out of an airlock.
Okay. This is one of the conversations that drives people nuts about the facial animations, because there are several characters that seem to have either permanent or temporary problems where the only movement of their face is the lip sync, which is apparently generated by an algorithm, according to an ex-animator who used to work for Bioware on Mass Effect 2 and 3.
I was watching some stuff, and the animators are all up in arms saying, we didn't do it! You know, it's somebody else's quote-unquote programming that has to do with how the characters act and behave.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, I don't know how many people Bioware has working on these things now in this particular group, but you look at, say, Bungie, where their headcount is estimated to be, 700? And then you look at, say, like the outfit that does the Fallout and Elder Scrolls games, which produces a game in about 5 years as opposed to Bungie's 3. But they do it with a headcount of about 100, not 700. I have a feeling there aren't that many outfits that are as artist and animator heavy as Bungie, even considering the fact that Bungie's animations mostly are combat. I mean, they don't, like, there are far few cutscenes in Destiny
everybody's
compared
wearing
to
helmets.
Halo.
But see, the thing is, for this, though, I mean, I would think that even if they couldn't, I gotta think that there's some programming and copying and pasting for character stuff that they could have done from the older games if they had to.
Well, I think
All right,
they did.
What happened?
To who?
To whom? And your goddamn father. Sorry, my face is tired from dealing with everything. And right now, I just want to know what happened with Alec. Not how he died. I pulled those logs. What happened with Pathfinder?
Yeah, hold up. So yes, the internet has heaved a collective sigh or guffaw at "my face is tired," which is that just fantastic combination of your weird facial animation and that clumsy line, which you can't imagine anyone ever saying, and it's not even going to be the worst one in this conversation.
Her whole tone makes absolutely no sense.
Yes, and she has a dead-eye stare because the only thing moving in her face are her lips and the few areas that are attached to that, that move automatically when the lips move, and her eyes, which dart around strangely.
I feel like I'm watching Clockwork Orange.
I don't want to get into it. Things went wrong. And now I'm the one you have to deal with.
Alec Ryder wouldn't accept that kind of ultimatum. Damned if I will. We'd never have left home if we... Not home. The Milky Way. This is home. This mess. We don't have a lot of options, Ryder. Maybe you'll prove your father right. After 14 months of failed colonization, forgive me if I don't hold my breath.
Huh?
Yeah.
You make no sense. Get in that airlock and push the button. I'm sorry. You are completely the wrong character for this job. I really, really believe that. I want to say I'll be going. Goodbye.
Oh, well, I think it's true of almost every person in any leadership position in this organization. But also, remember, going back even to the original series, security and military personnel are always portrayed as the ones who know what's going on and the ones who are competent in their jobs. Everybody else is a hapless, unqualified bureaucrat.
Yeah.
And they're being consistent with that. It's just that these are private sector bureaucrats instead of government ones.
I'd like to know where this person gets off treating me, who just lost my dad, whom I loved, like I'm some kind of fifth wheel or something. I really want to
I think she loved your dad, too.
I don't give a shit if she did. That still makes her not family.
You called my father Alec. No one does that.
A lot of us joined the initiative because of his vision. What he shared of it, anyway.
Were you
It's a harem
friends,
thing.
or...
I'm not your new mother, if that's what you're asking. Or his friend. He
That's
hated
not how
that
being
I
a
didn't
mother
use
works.
his title. But no one's a Pathfinder until they've path-found something. Much like a
Nobody's
my
path
God!
found anything.
Are you
Yeah,
fucking
I
kidding
told
me?
you. This is cringeworthy. This whole conversation, every branch of it
Found
is
something?
is
Path found
maddening. And you can see this is where people who are doing reviews or people who are doing streams were basically like, "Oh my God, I'm not sure about this anymore."
How did that pass an editor?
I
Seriously.
don't know if they have one.
Oh my God.
How do you fit into the Nexus leadership?
And
I
how do I
oversee the
kill
actual
whoever is
settlement
responsible
effort.
for putting you here?
As the number of outposts is currently less than ideal, my influence is limited. As
Thank
Tan
Christ.
is quick to remind me. Left a
Too
perfectly
many
adequate
words.
career as a chief officer. Provincial capital, too. Only a new galaxy could pull me away. And here
Well, it
we
does
are,
have a lot of gravity.
idling.
Well, gee, too bad. You know what? I think maybe you should head back.
There must be some kind of plan for encountering hostile aliens. We can't have been that naive.
We expected life, not an enemy that refuses to talk. They don't attack, they disinfect. We're nothing until we're bacteria. Sorry, 14
Nothing
months and
until
you stoop
we're
to poetry.
bacteria?
That's how bad it is. Not sure who started it, but we're calling them Kett. Kandros will know more. Maybe too much.
You don't trust him?
I trust him to defend us. I do not trust a rising military influence in a supposedly civilian initiative. We came here to make history, Ryder, not repeat it.
Oh, you didn't think that was a
Goddamn
possibility?
poetry.
Oh my God, seriously.
I cannot figure out what anybody was thinking when they wrote that collection of lines. I can barely guess what they thought they were writing when they said we're nothing until we're bacteria. Maybe they meant we're nothing unless we're bacteria. Maybe they meant that in
missed
their eyes
somebody's
we're
translation.
less than bacteria. I can't figure it out. And
no, it's
this
just a
thing
mistake.
about
It's just an error.
poetry.
Yeah.
Not liking poetry or thinking that what she said is poetry. So you have not said anything poetic yet, lady.
Well, here's the thing, and so far they have not. I don't think anybody has really defined her character, of who she is and where they want to take this character. Because obviously, she is all over the map in her tone, in what she's talking about, how she references the people, how she references the situation, and how she's relating to you as a person. And if somebody was in front of me talking this way, I would either leave, shove them in an airlock, or punch them in the face, and not necessarily in that order. And to be honest, I think it would probably improve her disposition somewhat.
Yeah, everybody is going to have complaints about their areas of responsibilities. Most of the other characters are better at explaining them than this one.
Okay, well, here's my thing. Is there any way to... I'm assuming we're going to lose people along the way in this adventure, right?
No, actually.
Seriously?
I believe it was mentioned that character death is not an option this time. I think they were looking to eliminate the creation of redundant assets and having to cope with the branching continuity over the series. Cost control, bringing in, spending the money to go look for voice actors for the third game who were in the first game to make sure that that content is put in only for the people who saved that character instead of killing them. So I do remember reading something that the big NPC deaths as far as choices are not going to be a thing. So it's not going to be a thing where, this character may die in your game, but not in somebody else's.
Okay, well, guess what? This game has now found a new way to disappoint me, and it's only been game number 2. Because right now, I made a decision after listening to those very few sentences, I want this character to die as fast as possible.
You can't pull out a gun on the
How
Nexus.
do I make that happen?
No.
Now, the other thing
no
is,
way that I know of.
Right, well, see, that's just it. Now you've told me that that's not a possibility, which means, wow, I'm going to have to sit through this whole game dealing with this person that I already loathe. So that my other question then, if I can't kill her, how do I completely limit my exposure to this character so I don't want to throw the controller away?
I don't know. I don't know how much of the main thread goes with her. I mean, obviously there's several different department heads on this thing, and I know you do have to come back here. I don't know how much of her involvement is main story as opposed to side stuff. So it may be possible.
I want to put her in a shuttle and say, "Hey, go find another arc somewhere far away from me."
There's also this strange technology. Has anyone studied that?
We've tried. Not me. The brains in research. They're supposed to know their business. The current excuse? The tech we dug up on Mars was more advanced, but it was plug and go. The tech here thinks different? I don't know. We've mostly avoided it. And from what the Hyperion logs say about Alec, maybe that's good.
Okay, so now this is
someone else already being judgy about somebody else's job, and that apparently she doesn't have one. She's being completely judgmental about you and your abilities, as well as dumping on other people. I'm sorry, this woman is an absolute bitch.
Yes. Yeah. No, nobody likes her, as far as I can tell.
You've had no colony successes in over a year? How many tries is that?
Less than you'd think. The Scourge, spoiled worlds, exiles, hostiles. We can't just
That's not a number.
An outpost and expect picket fences. We need the Pathfinder and Sam to scout, evaluate, and inspire. The initiative promised a goal. Andromeda has not cooperated.
And if it had?
Beautiful utopian horseshit. Colonies that produce and support each other. The Nexus as Citadel, not headed by Tan, or even me.
All right, stop up. Because when we asked about the alien tech, she talked about saying, well, this stuff is harder to study and investigate or use, unlike what we discovered on Mars, which was the Prothean stuff. But you also have to remember, right, given that the events of Mass Effect 2 were ongoing when these people left, we don't know how widespread the knowledge that the Reapers built the Citadel. In other words, that all the Mass Effect technology was planted as part of a big trap. So yes, of course it was easy to use.
Excuse me, Director Addison.
Ryder?
It's Pathfinder.
Ryder, we're starving here. If we don't get a foundation of outposts to feed the initiative, we might as well be 600 years dead. Alec promised a lot. None of it panned out. That's what you're up against. Why people won't trust you. Why I don't trust you. Prove me wrong.
Oh my
That was all
God.
Terrible. And again, it's easily the weakest of all the side interactions you have to have here, and they put that character right in the room with you so that you would have it first. I mean, they should have hid that in the middle. They should have hidden her in a side room somewhere.
Seriously, you have the worst makeup ever.
Yeah, that was why I really wanted as little rouge as possible on our character, because I kept thinking of this one because I had already seen her.
Okay, so whose office you said was? I got to talk to someone that makes me not want to kill them.
Down the stairs and to the left, it's Kesh's office.
This one,
and that's a better conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Kesh.
There you are. Hope the others haven't been giving you a hard time. There's a lot that needs doing.
Where's your
gun? At least with
gun?
the Hyperion hooked up and feeding us power, my team and I can get more work done.
I noticed there aren't a lot of krogan around.
You haven't spoken to number 8 yet, have you?
Number 8?
Tan. Ask him why most of my people left. He'll have opinions. I can tell you this much. When the mutiny happened, a deal was made. My clan were supposed to settle matters and, in return, get more say in the initiative.
Why do you call Tan 8?
Because he was 8th in line to take over the Andromeda initiative. I like to remind him of that now and then. Keep him humble.
Did the deal go through?
The clan held up their part, but Tan had a meltdown when he found out we wanted more say around here. Then Addison's assistant, Spender, pretended he never made the deal in the first place. It was a mess, but I don't blame my people for walking out. We're done being used.
I totally agree.
With your clan gone, why did you stay?
It's complicated. The station and my clan both need me here.
What sort of problems have you seen on the Nexus?
Situation's gone to shit pretty much sums it up. There's arcs missing. Some idiots tried to mutiny and take over, then more idiots offended my clan, so they left. And to top it all off, the founder of the initiative, Gian Garson, was killed.
What happened to Gian Garson?
Killed in the Scourge disaster. Her and a bunch of the other leaders. Tan might know more.
And I thought the Hyperion had it bad when we arrived. Anything else?
The outposts aren't happening because we don't have resources or people, so Addison's more uptight than ever.
Oh, she's
and
the
let's
definition.
not forget how badly the station was damaged on arrival. But that's a detail, according to some. My team and I are repairing what we can. If we don't get materials soon, things will go downhill. Fast.
I just don't understand the logistics and the supply problems that they're having. What is the basis of that? I mean, they haven't really quite explained that to me satisfactorily yet.
But
about,
at least
we seem to have gone everywhere, but oh my god, we forgot our lunchbox, and we're suddenly 600 years later finding that out now. It makes no sense that none of these potential contingencies were thought of and planned out. That there could be a breakdown of the command structure, that there'd be a contamination or a loss of supplies of food and water, that there would be some type of technical issues that would have completely limited their capabilities and their equipment. I mean, did nobody think of these things? And if they hadn't, then they shouldn't be planning excursions to other galaxies.
Right, but at least this character makes coherent sense. In other words,
totally.
I get the impression
I
that
love this character right now. Kesh is my favorite so far right now.
This is a rational character who's trapped in an irrational situation, who is rationally explaining that situation, whereas Addison, we're like, are you okay? I mean,
she's got the bitch knob up to 11, and I'm sorry, I just wouldn't put up with that personally.
When we left the Milky Way, the Krogan were still dealing with a genophage.
Right. The genophage. A little gift to our people from the Salarians thousands of years ago. That sterility virus they infected us with left most of our children stillborn. Only 1 in 1,000 survive.
Which,
just
to
in
me,
case you hadn't played any of the other games.
Yeah, well, what's to me also in this circumstances could be incredibly problematic if they're planning to colonize another galaxy and haven't cured it yet.
Yep. And notice there's actually been a little repeat of the Rachni War dynamic here, where they needed the Krogans to help put down a rebellion when things really went badly here.
Yeah, when they run into a more violent species with better tech
and then
greater
screwed
strength.
them again. So it's the Rachni War all over again.
Well, I'm not surprised that them and the Salarians wouldn't start to go at it. You know, that would have been my first expectation.
No wonder your people have such a problem with Salarians.
Some wounds never heal. Not that my ancestors didn't provoke it. They did try to conquer the galaxy. The Salarians were forced to respond. And it's not fair to blame it all on them, either. The Salarians developed the virus, but it was the Turians who deployed it. I'm hoping that's all in the past. Plenty of blame to go around, but Andromeda is about new beginnings. My people need that more than most.
You know, why is she not in charge of everything? Because, to be honest, she sounds rational, diplomatic, and far more or less bloodthirsty than other Krogans that you've met. And so far, she's the sanest person that we've talked to in this entire game. So, can we kill everybody and put Kesh in charge? Because I'm all for that.
I don't know.
Let's try.
What about the Krogan here in Andromeda?
There's no cure for it. But my clan was starting to show mutation against the virus. A natural defense. During the trip to get here, Krogan underwent gene therapies to enhance the mutation while we were in stasis.
So you used those 600 years to your advantage. Gave the adaptation more time to develop.
Yeah. It's still early, but I think we made a dent.
She's pregnant,
Our scientists say we've improved viability to almost 4%, which is a lot better than what we had. Beyond all the statistics, it means more Krogan children will live. It's the only way my people have a future out here.
Well, the other thing is cloning. I'm surprised that they didn't try cloning efforts.
Well, that was what Siren was doing.
Yeah.
But they had to account for the fact that not every Mass Effect 3 player would have cured the genophage. Some of them would have chosen to betray them.
Right.
So,
I was just curious as to as an alternative for this circumstance, why they haven't mentioned cloning yet.
Yeah. So none of the endings have taken effect.
I was part of the team that originally designed and built this place.
No shit.
I keep the station functional, or as functional as possible. Considering.
So she's Geordie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sweet.
Okay. I was thinking Kernow, but
oh, either one.
Nothing more for now.
Later.
Yeah, why does she get space sick?
Not that I've seen. No.
Let's hope not.
The Nexus is a 4-ring circus. Don't like how Tan operates. His disdain for the Krogan is obvious. I believe his intentions are ultimately good, but he's an opportunist who's likely to create dissent. I don't see the Nexus coming together if he's left unchecked. It's already polarizing Addison. She's taking the cue to circle the wagon. Circle the wagons? Circle the wagons. Why would a Krogan use the phrase circle the wagons?
No.
Man, like, this stuff, obviously, it would seem like it was not written by the same person who wrote that other stuff.
I don't think this was written. I think this was copy and pasted.
Oh, box. Space box. Shotgun part. Again, I mean, it's like...
Yeah, I'm randomly stealing things from her supply stash now.
Yeah, I mean, the scarcity doesn't make any sense either. Like, if they had the Hyperion crash on a planet and spew a bunch of boxes all over the whole place, then I could see that, yeah, you don't have anything. There's nowhere to go. But we not only have our ship, but we also have
I'm
this
Jan
place.
Garson, founder of the initiative. It's through your hard work that the vision of the Nexus has come to life. You and all your colleagues bind our proud new colonies together. Look around at your achievements. And if you have any questions, my door is always open.
Founder Garson's office is located at Workspace Not Allocated. Please select a topic.
You notice that wasn't a robotic workspace not allocated.
Yep. File not found.
You are Sarah Ryder, salary code 19B, active Pathfinder. Your supervisor is Director Tan. Based on current staffing needs, you will be eligible for paid vacation time in 587 days.
What?
Seriously?
Why not plan on which beautiful colony you'll vacation on while you wait?
Okay.
For initiative strategy and Pathfinder coordination, please see Director Jaren Tan. For colonial affairs or outpost status, please see Director Foster Addison. For station maintenance, please contact Superintendent Nakmor Kesh. For militia operations or Apex deployment, please see Turian Kandros. Integration from the Hyperion is ongoing. Personnel are still restricted to operations. Viable planets capable of supporting life are key to our survival in Andromeda. The viability of a world is affected by several factors, including temperature, resources, threat levels, political stability, and so on.
And side missions.
We have few viable planets currently within range. Resource levels are considered at risk.
I don't think volcanic stability would be more important.
The selection process saw the Andromeda Initiative evaluate thousands of potential habitable planets within the galaxy. After discovering an unusually high ratio of potential candidates, or golden worlds, the Heleus Cluster was selected as our destination. Even at a distance, studying the light from stars can reveal much about their planet's composition and atmosphere. 7 worlds, nicknamed habitats, have the life-supporting environments and resources we need to start our new lives in Andromeda.
In other words, you don't know dick. Oh.
Okay, I suggest going down the stairs and to the right and talking to Kendor first. Kendor? Kenzior?
You want to see this data pad first?
Oh, sure. Based on status report 16C, it seems we're no closer to gaining a foothold in any sector. Without decent recon and greater intel on this enemy, I'm starting to think our efforts are futile. The risks involved and continual loss of resources and lives make it hard to justify. With morale this low, we need to scale down expectations again.
Oh, well, we are invading somebody else's habitat.
Love Kandros. Now, why is this guy crouched in the corner behind him?
I was going to say.
People who are guarding stuff go in and out of that one janky animation all the time. There's guards everywhere that do that.
He's just checking out the glutes.
I know that look. The others bent your ear, did they?
Something like that?
You get used
No,
to
I was born that way.
Just focus on being a Pathfinder. Can't argue with results, though they'll try. Anyway, welcome to Militia HQ. Excuse the mess. This office fields militia work, Nexus security, and looking for the Turian Ark.
What's the word on the Turian Ark?
Scattered readings. Some indicate the Natanus was destroyed, others that people are alive. Who knows?
That seems to be kind of a disparaging gap.
It's just a vent.
That makes no sense
None
whatsoever.
Well, I got some readings as it blew up. Others say they're living
I could
someplace.
see you having no information at all.
Yes.
That would make sense.
Or conflicting
we just don't
data.
Know. No signals.
Why not
no
conflicting
messages,
data? Yeah,
no readings. But what's a conflicting mess? Are you saying you get emails from people and then you're like, no, it's fake? I don't know what they're talking about.
How about nothing conclusive? About, we have nothing to relay at this time.
Also, I wanted to question, is your office in charge of looking for the Turian Ark because you're Turian?
Yes.
Because that seems kind of a weird way to associate responsibility.
Yeah.
You're head of security, but you're only looking for the Turian Ark, not the Salarian Ark.
Right.
Not the
Krogans. Right. No. We're looking for
there is no Krogan Ark, I don't think.
What brought you out here to Andromeda?
I was tired of being the good one.
The good one?
You're the good one?
The Kandros family is old military. There were expectations, Then my sister became a sculptor, and cousin Irene went pirate on Omega.
We probably
Everyone
killed
was
him.
Proud that I stayed in service. But I kept wondering, when do I get my adventure? Jen Garson's dream was so grand, so gutsy, I had to be part of it.
Who put that extra I in Jen Garson's name if nobody's going to pronounce it?
I don't know. Well, the other thing is, everyone seems to be reacting to going to an entire new galaxy as if they saw a poster in the mall one day and said, that could be fun.
You talk like you weren't part of the leadership. How did you end up commanding the militia?
I was escorting a prospecting team on some moon when those Kett found us. They penned us like cattle for experiments. I managed to get loose, snatched a gun, and freed the others. By the time we killed the bastards and headed back to warn the Nexus, everyone looked at me like I was in charge.
That sounds familiar.
The militia grew from there. Does it? Funny, once the heat is on, all kinds of people rise to the top.
Are the other Turians managing okay?
So. We're not good at sitting around in a crisis. Service before self gets drummed into us at boot camp. That's probably why so many of us are in the militia. We like to earn our citizenship, whatever galaxy we're in. But it's hard to focus with our arc missing.
What do you know about the enemies we've encountered? The Kett?
We usually see them on worlds with those alien structures. The Kett don't take kindly to anyone studying them. Not sure why. They don't talk to us. Every time we cross paths, there's a fight or they take prisoners.
Why? What do they want?
No one knows. But I've seen their weaponry and what they do to those prisoners. I want them a long, long way from the Nexus.
It's rough out there. I might need backup if you can spare the people.
I have strike teams specializing in assault and extraction. If you need serious firepower, my Apex teams have you covered. In fact, I could give you authority to dispatch them. It'll cut down their response time.
Thank you.
Our current ops are on the terminal. See if there's anything that could use a shot where it counts.
Bye, Kandros. Duty calls.
You and me both, Pathfinder.
Okay, I'm liking him, but yeah, he's a little gung-ho-ish, but...
Yeah. Okay, wait. Hit the... Before you do that, terminal behind you.
This console reports on the militia's current strike team missions, Pathfinder. Please speak with Tyrion Kandros for authorization to participate.
Okay, now talk to him again.
That's the console for our strike teams.
What are they?
Assault and extraction squads. When we need the best, I have Apex, combat experts who've signed up to defend us. Since you have a front row view of the cluster, I can give you authority to dispatch them.
What situations should they handle?
Protecting civilian outposts, holding key positions, or
Breaking
just
a
distracting
post.
the Kett. Authorization complete.
Told you.
Good luck out there.
Okay, now hit the terminal again.
Yeah, see, now that should
Because
not
that's
have
what you
been
have
necessary.
to do to get access to
yeah,
this.
that was busy work. That should not have been necessary. I would call that a flaw.
So this is like the lowest level of side mission incorporating multiplayer. So the ones that have the little Apex notification on them, those are ones that you can choose to do yourself, and it will act like a multiplayer activity.
Okay.
The other ones, you just send a quote-unquote strike team. In other words, you send a simulated group in to do a thing, and sending people when the things are simulated to have succeeded gives you rewards that are used in multiplayer.
Okay.
When you do it yourself, was it single player? One of the ways you can do it gets you rewards that are only in single player, and one of them gives you stuff that also is in multiplayer. In other words, there's some stuff that's used in both modes, and there's some stuff that's only used in one of the modes. So the way I do this is basically, if you go into one of the non-Apex ones, that eliminates supply ships. Click that one. Yeah, this is the highest chance of success. So basically, they've given you a strike team called Bravo. It is level 1. It's going to take almost an hour to finish this, and there's a certain amount of time before it expires. But basically, what you'll get is 6,400 XP for your strike team. So your simulated strike team levels up when it succeeds.
Okay, so, but if I initiate this happens in the background and I'm not participating at all?
It happens in the background, you're not doing it, and when it's done, succeed or fail, it will tell you, and you'll come back to the terminal, and it'll apply your rewards.
Okay,
and the Apex
so did that
missions,
start?
Yep, that's what the little thing is. So that basically, and each of these also have expiries. You notice, see, for instance, that one takes an hour and a half, but it expires in 6 hours.
Yep.
Mission traits, no room for error, alien presence, and remnant. So it tells you basically like who the alien is going to be, what kind of thing is, and what you'll get for it. Pathfinder
Bronze
rewards.
credit loot box.
Yeah, loot boxes. So the loot boxes are where the multiplayer stuff comes from.
It's all about the loot.
Okay, that's a side mission. That will pay off in the next mission area.
Fair. What's wrong?
Oh my, So it's true. A Pathfinder has found us. There's hope at last.
Are you having a seizure, ma'am?
You're impartial. This whole thing has gotten so political. My husband, he's locked up and slated for exile for a crime he didn't commit.
This is one of 2 side missions in this area that basically employ the RPG trope of like the Doctor Who effect, which is like, you're a crazy person who just showed up. We don't know who you are, therefore you must be impartial, so please settle this for us.
Yeah.
What exactly was he convicted of?
They don't exile you for petty theft. Well, maybe this bunch would. They say it's murder. They're calling him the first murderer in Andromeda, but the dead man was his friend. He wouldn't have. There are witnesses and evidence, but it's all circumstantial. At worst, it was an accident. His name is Milky Way.
At best, it was murder.
He could give you the details if you were willing to speak with him. Please.
I'd be happy to.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure the jailer will allow you a visit. Please, tell Milken I love him.
Michael Milken is a murderer. Okay, if you walk forward a little bit, now turn left. And go straight across that, on the other side of that tree. In that room is the brig, and there should be a guard there that'll let you talk to this guy. Yeah,
Ooh,
this is a guy selling guns. I don't think you'll be able to afford any of that stuff yet.
Anything.
Nope.
Okay, well, here's my first question. Where's my sniper?
I've gotten a sniper in my playthrough, but I think I crafted it instead of buying it, and it's not that great. It's an incisor. It's another one of these 3-burst ones, and it's got like so much instability. It's hard to use. So I'm not even sure it was worth crafting. So you're probably, I don't know how many hours away from a widow you are at this point.
Well, that's just it. I want to know because
probably
to be
about
honest,
30, I'm guessing.
That is probably my goal.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a lot of different stuff in here, though.
Although, to be honest, the style, the way combat works, I think snipers are not going to be
it's all going to be close combat
as they were.
Well,
no, you can't. I mean, put it this way. Look, when you get to the next mission area, there are much bigger places. But I think the AI also engages you at longer distances and without the hard cover. Like, snipers really were OP on the hard cover system because you just hunker down next to something, pop and shoot, pop and shoot, pop and shoot. And there really was no, like, the AI had no counter for that. Even if they ducked down, all you had to do was stay zoomed in and wait, you know? And as soon as they pop up, you kill them.
Help you?
Pathfinder Ryder, here to see Nilk and Rensis.
Ah, our murderer. Wife's here all the time. Guess she told you her sob story. Nilkan, you're moving up in the world. There's a Pathfinder wanting to chat with you.
The Pathfinder, huh? They called in the big guns to exile Andromeda's first murderer.
Why is that capitalized?
Your wife's all broken up over this. She says you didn't do it, and that she loves you.
She's a wonderful person.
Also, she was just here saying...
At this point, it's too late. They found me guilty.
Why don't you tell me what happened?
I was part of the futile effort to set up a colony on Eos. We were on our last legs, overrun by hostiles, our leader dead. The security chief, Reynolds, my friend, he refused to call for evacuation. I argued with him. Everyone saw.
So when he was killed, people assumed you did it?
For good reason. He ordered us to regroup and counterattack. We were moving through a sandstorm. I saw movement, thought it was the Kett, and I guess I panicked and fired. A witness saw the chief's chest explode.
Sounds like an accident.
That's what I told them. But I was enraged when we argued. There's a recording. It's ugly. Everyone's certain I did it on purpose so we could evacuate. Only my word otherwise.
I'll check out the evidence. Maybe something doesn't add up.
It'd be nice to have someone with an open mind looking at it. You're a Pathfinder. I'm sure Kandros would give you access. Maybe there's still hope.
Tempest crew should report to the docking area at once.
Weapons and stuff. They got you covered. Use the console to take a look through
weapons and stuff, huh? Wow, you're not a professional dealing in lethal military and paramilitary equipment, are you?
I think he's planning on opening a chain.
Wow, weapons and stuff.
Oh
my god, this is so poorly written.
Reminds me of some of those pictures you see of those places on the internet. You know, beer and ammo.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my
weapons
god,
and stuff.
Seriously. Let's see. What's
and again, the obligatory, why is there an economy here?
Here I come.
That's fine. Hey, wait. Please don't drop anything you bought from me, okay? Tam would have my head if anything happened to you on my account.
Wow. Okay. Gotta work on a sense of humor.
I wonder if that's a Fem Rider only line. I honestly do not remember the male Rider saying "shop till you drop."
Nope, me neither. Okay, do you see what I'm seeing over here?
Some people staring at stuff. Yeah, there's
no.
The place compared to the Citadel seems dead, and there's lots of people staring at boxes.
Well, no. Look how this room is designed. There are offices and chairs and desks, but there are boxes all stacked up and around them.
Yes. Okay, because I think the idea is that they wanted to create the impression over time of conditions here improving, but they also needed to minimize the resource intensiveness of doing that. So what they've done is that they've actually piled crates in front of crap, and I think later they're going to disappear and give you access, and they'll put a character there. Box.
Okay, because to be honest, all I can think of is that Kruger was here and he set up Fort Kickass.
Alright, so you get another rifle.
Oh, neat, I got a sniper rifle.
Don't bother with security footage, because there's gonna be like 2 missions that require you to talk to that, so basically you can't get anything out of it now, and you're gonna need to come back to it later anyway.
Okay, so who's around here that I can talk to?
Scientists.
Dudes.
Although actually you could talk to Tan first. Tan will refer you here anyway. So
where's Tan?
Back up the way you came. Basically, his office is the one opposite Kesh's. So you can just go back up the ramps to the info wall and turn left.
I love how every time you're about to jump or walk for something, you jump as if you're like going into a super. Oh, I'm gonna sprint now and then I'm gonna stop. Super sprint now I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, there's a bunch of janky animations, and when you go downhill, there's a bit that actually makes it look like you're skidding on the heel of your shoe down the stairs.
Where we
it's
landed,
kind of weird.
Habitat 7. It wasn't even close to livable.
That's been true of every world we found. Ryder, we were discussing your next expedition.
Right, usually you're yelling about our next expedition.
I know. It's refreshing.
I thought I didn't measure up as Pathfinder.
Director Addison
you are
keeps her
short.
own counsel. I keep mine.
And when you
disagree, keep it in this box.
I oversee the entire initiative, and I have decided to give you a chance to prove yourself. To that end, the Scourge dealt us a serious blow. Whatever it is, our scientists theorize it's not natural.
An artificial
Based on
energy
what?
cloud?
It wasn't here when we left the Milky Way, yet it rendered all the golden worlds unlivable. Then there's the aliens you ran into, the Kett. They're obsessed with alien structures we found scattered around the cluster. They'll do anything to prevent others from accessing them. It seems murder isn't exclusive to the Milky Way. And now the challenge...
Nothing here is alien except
you.
you.
All that. This one here. Eos.
How?
You need to increase the viability
why?
of the planet so we can establish an outpost. Then we can bring more colonists out of stasis. The more colonists we have, the more resources we can gather to support the Nexus.
And more resources they need to live?
Depends on it. There are 6 worlds we hope to settle.
Okay, but you said every planet you found is unlivable, so how do I...
A good Pathfinder would relish the challenge of solving it.
Right. I think I should go check on things.
And if I fail, I guess it's no sweat off your back, right? You'll just look for another Pathfinder?
Placing bets on people is part of my job. Some of them pay off. Others...
not so much.
Just point me to my ship and I'll be out of here.
They're prepping it now in the docking bay. The coordinates for Eos will be in the computer. And when you have a moment, we should discuss the missing arcs.
I was wondering about that.
I felt a great disturbance in the Force, as if millions
Something
of Riders
wrong?
were blown up in an airlock during the production of this
Ryder,
game.
please see me and Sam node on the Hyperion. Your implant needs attention, and we need to discuss a confidential matter.
Ice cream headache.
No. I'm fine.
Okay, now talk to him again.
Ryder, you have my condolences for your father.
I appreciate it.
Wow, now you say that?
Him very well. Although I understand he played a key role in planning the initiative. I'm sure he'd be concerned that we still have several arcs missing.
Any idea where they went?
Nothing certain, but tens of thousands of colonists are unaccounted for. It paints the initiative in an unflattering light. Did you have some other business?
That's what we're really worried about. Also, nothing certain. Would you care to give me some of the uncertain information you have, or you just don't want to say anything?
Is it just me, or whoever set up this initiative did not screen and plan out the not only the interactivities, but also the underlining psychological profile, the professional levelism, their experience with interacting with these people?
You will get an answer to that. Push through this conversation.
Any more information you can give me on the missing arcs?
No, and that is the distressing part. The Asari, Turian, and Salarian arcs are completely unaccounted for. If they had the same problems with the Scourge that we did...
Wait a minute, they don't think
I fear
Cerberus
the
did
worst.
something, did they?
Should you find any clues, please investigate. Without the other arcs, the promise of the initiative can never be fulfilled.
I'm convinced these guys are Cerberus, frankly.
Well, no, I have a feeling that they might, but maybe I'm thinking one of the underlining things was that the other ones were sabotaged, so that only the humans were the ones who were going to be able to colonize the galaxy?
No, I don't think so.
Are there any other arcs we should expect?
We had hoped Quarians would be part of the first wave, but before departure in 2185, we got word they had technical problems with their ship.
That I don't buy.
It seems they're also bringing along Drell, Hanar, and other species as well. Managing all of their biological needs caused complications. We won't see them for some time to come.
Yeah, Quarian's delayed till the sequel.
Well, see, here's the thing. I can't imagine the Quarians being the ones who aren't showing up first, because you would think, of the historical information we have about the species and the fact that they were in flotillas for generations, they would be the most experienced and the most capable for long-distance space travel and survivability.
Yeah, but also remember,
What the F?
this is a private company. This is not a government exercise by any of the involved bodies,
though,
basically.
Hey, if you want to win a race, you get a Finn. You know, if you want to win a space race, you get a Quarian.
No,
That's just
I
the
am
way it
sure
is.
the Andromeda. I am sure Andromeda wanted the Quarians to go, but we also know from the main Mass Effect line that they're basically getting ready to attack the Geth to take back their homeworld. I think basically it's a lack of interest from the Quarians in this boondoggle
particular endeavor.
Yes.
Sounds like the Nexus has had a rough time of it.
Publicly, I would say we're more than up for the challenge. Privately, I can tell you, it's been a disaster. The Scourge killed hundreds, many of them our senior leadership.
Obviously,
Even the
they
founder
do
of
their
the
jobs.
initiative, Gian Garson, is dead.
Yeah, wait. Keep pushing.
How did Jean Garson die?
With the rest of the leadership.
Horribly.
When the Nexus hit Scourge, a large wing of stasis pods was destroyed. They were killed instantly. These people traveled 600 years and died before they even woke up. Jean Garson never glimpsed Heleus. She never saw her vision realized.
Okay, and you know what? The first time I heard this, I was convinced that this was either a lie or just not true. I was starting to think that maybe this whole thing was a con job.
Yeah, that's
that
what
they
I'm
raised
thinking.
billions of credits, that Jean Garson never got on this stupid ship, and that she's living it up back in the Milky Way. But
she'd be
I
dead
think
now.
that despite everything being crap, I think they spent enough on these ships so that this is an actual endeavor. So maybe Garson's alive, I don't know, but it's probably just as likely that she really is dead.
Maybe, but to be honest, I think either she was ejected by someone in the middle of cryo sleep.
That is also possible.
Well, see, that's what I'm thinking. Because think about it. If you wanted to completely screw this up or take over or whatever, what would you do? You'd wake up early.
If somebody did it, then it has to be him.
Well, him or hey, for all we know, he backstabbed whoever did that to cover his tracks. You know,
also possible.
Yeah, I see a lot of weird things going on.
Kandros mentioned something about hitting the Scourge. How did it play out?
Criminal elements took advantage of the emergency and preyed on people's fears.
Okay, now
An
that I don't
uprising
understand.
We
Why
had no
are there
choice but to turn to
criminals?
the Krogan to deal with them. They crushed the mutiny and the criminals were banished. Exiles, we call them. I doubt we've heard the last of them. They're led by an outlaw, Sloane Kelly. She used to be one of ours.
Yeah, how did she get on board? How and why are there criminals at all?
No, he is calling them criminals at the moment at which they disagreed with the policies that he put in place. In other words, there was a point at which a bunch of people said, what is going on here? What is all this crap? And we're no longer willing to follow orders. So basically there was a mutiny. So he's basically calling the participants in the mutiny criminals from the moment at which they mutiny. It wasn't like they had a criminal population and they broke out of prison or something.
That's just it.
It's a mutiny, not a prison break.
Yeah, that's what's making no sense, and they're not picking their words with precision.
Who is this Sloane Kelly?
She was head of security on the Nexus. She opposed the uprising at first, but eventually turned traitor and joined them. Misguided sympathy for the plight of the common citizen? Nonsense. They posed a direct threat to our existence.
Wow, liking the sky less and less.
Oh yeah.
There don't seem to be many Krogan around.
Good riddance. The Krogan demanded a greater say in political matters. The last place you want them involved. They're muscle, nothing more. Good for fighting and lifting heavy objects. When they didn't get what they wanted, they left.
Yeah, good thing you don't need anybody to do any fighting or lift boxes. Oh, wait, you do.
Yeah.
Why don't you like the Krogan?
It's common knowledge that they are a violent, ignorant species. Long ago, they waged nuclear war on one another. Their planet was decimated.
That's not what decimated
tried
means.
to uplift them, but the Krogan could never tame their worst instincts. What if they bring their tempers to Andromeda? We'll all be dead.
So you're the Williams in this particular endeavor. Okay, good to know.
What more can you tell me about the initiative?
It represents the greatest migration ever attempted. No one had ventured beyond the Milky Way before. We've all left home in search of freedom, fortune, perhaps a new beginning. We are the bravest souls each species has to offer. I hope the Nexus will serve as the seat of government for us all.
What do you mean fortune?
Well, obviously they still have finances and stuff. Okay, these look like they've all been selected.
No.
Why do you think most people came?
There are thousands of reasons, one for every colonist here. What does any pilgrim seek? Usually, happiness, finding the thing that eludes them, the thing to fulfill them. While we cannot promise they will find it, we can facilitate the search.
What do you know about the early days of the initiative?
As most everyone knows, Jean Garson's vision made it happen. She was an entrepreneur on Earth, wealthy, young for a human. Garson had the idea for the initiative in the early 2170s, I believe. Many thought leaving the Milky Way was impossible. But she persevered, and as with most great ideas, the doubters were wrong.
Okay,
Looks like
we're not going to
pot around here.
The Nexus is home to several initiative species. Many came ahead of the Arks. The hope is that this station will one day serve as the governing body in Andromeda. Though I'm not sure what they were thinking, lumping Krogan into the mix.
Oh,
As a Salarian, my kind tend to have a low opinion of them. Nothing I've seen here has changed that.
Okay,
Wow.
We're not going to dig through the codex entries in this because there's way too many of them. However, the codex entry on the initiative mentions that from the 2170s when it was started, nothing much got done until the early 2180s when they received a big injection of funding from an unknown location.
Cerberus.
And that kind of matches up with 2183 when Mass Effect 1 events starts when we first start hearing about Cerberus.
Cerberus.
As director of the initiative, are you in charge around here or what?
If the others would allow me, they don't see me as the rightful successor.
So how does anything get done?
In theory, Kesh handles the Nexus's physical operations, Kandros runs the militia, and Addison manages colonial affairs. I oversee all of it. In practice, we argue, debate, and yell at each other until a decision is made. If we're lucky. It is maddening.
What's their problem with you?
I am not Jean Garson. Our founder was charismatic, eccentric, larger than life. Traits I cannot hope to mimic. She and her
don't say
circle
yourself short.
perished in the
You're
Scourge,
eccentric.
Some at the hands of the exiles. Some never made it out of stasis. I was deputy assistant for revenue management. Then all 7 leaders above me died. I was next in line for the role.
So, you're an accountant?
Oh god.
Don't let that fool you. We are all capable of more than we know. When I was young,
I was going to say that to
fascinated by
you.
the idea of exploring space. Life had its detours, and I went a different direction. Then I heard about the initiative, and saw my chance to try the path not taken. While I may not be setting foot on new worlds, my authority can ensure that you do.
Right. Sorry.
Space accountant.
God. Yep. You're all doomed.
What do I need to consider in making a planet viable?
Assuming the planet supports life, an outpost is critical. People like a roof over their heads, and you'll want to eliminate any hostile threats.
Okay,
Whether that's
this
the
is a
Kett
dumb question.
or other terrors lurking in Heleus, colonists being murdered on sight can be discouraging. Also, scouting and mapping terrain is a priority for any Pathfinder. And don't forget forward stations. You'll want those.
I'm sorry. This is like,
Wait,
colonizing
this next bit is
by
hilarious.
Legos. This is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
you need this bit, and don't forget that bit. It's like, excuse me. I think we would have to evaluate these planets for quite a long time to figure out whether or not that any, let alone one species, let alone all of these species, who obviously have their own biology and particular concerns and issues and potential problems, that would all have to be evaluated. Literally colonizing a single planet would take decades. Several of them could literally take hundreds of years, so...
Yeah, they're skipping that part.
Nobody's really thinking about this very well.
What can you tell me about forward stations?
I was afraid you'd ask. It's mostly what the engineers tell me. A forward station allows mining, equipment repairs, and resupply for field teams. I mean, who wouldn't want that? But seeing as how every colonization effort has failed, it's just theory at the moment. You get to test it out, Ryder.
Great, so I'll go to the
That makes no sense whatsoever.
None.
Now, okay,
Let's
now
go
in
to
practice.
Seriously, they make it sound like
Yeah.
she's going to go to the forward station store and make sure that she puts one in the right spot.
No. Okay.
That's all. Thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
Painful.
I see great things in our future.
I see this game not having a sequel.